We just request everybody remain on mute, and we'll address questions at the end because it's easier to do it that way. So again, this is being recorded, and welcome to the Race One participants meeting. Again, this lure couldn't happen without our sponsors, so we'd like you to encourage you to patronize them and mention that you're doing that because they're sponsoring lure.
You're not sharing your screen. Do you want to?
Whoops. Okay, thank you. Okay, so yeah, we'd like to thank all our sponsors. Lure couldn't happen, so please patronize them in a good way by spending money at them. So just in case I make any mistakes in what I say, the notice of race and the sailing instructions takes precedence and override anything said during the meeting tonight. So they're the authoritative documents. The websites are up to date. I had an amendment that was put today for the SIs, which show the actual finish of the finish mark, which really won't be needed until race number 4, but it's done out of the way. The starting seat.
Were you gonna let us?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, Monica, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all right. Graham's just eager to get all the really good information out that doesn't want to bother with all this kind of stuff. So anyway, good evening, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Monica Jones. I'm the chair of the Lure Organizing Committee of the Association. And on behalf of all of Lure, I really would like to welcome you and thank you for all coming. I mean, LOSHRS is kind of the heart of the lure races, and the single and double handers do actually hold a special part in my heart. As Graham mentioned, we like to thank the sponsors. What you notice, what you probably didn't pay much attention to, but Drive HG is on that now. In previous years, Drive HG has not sponsored us before, but they are now. They've stepped up and they are now your LOSHRS title sponsor also. So that's really great. And they're looking right this year. We don't really know what we're going to do. But we're going to hopefully step up with a few more bigger events or something coming up. If you have any ideas, let us know. We do want to thank Accessibilities in North. Also, they will be doing the sale. You'll get more information about that, but you will be able to win a sale at the end of, or $5,000 towards a sale, I should say. That might not be a sale depending on your boat. And definitely thank those people when you see them. Just a little piece of work, maintenance kind of stuff. So I was told today at PCYC that there may not be slips for everybody who are doing the Susan Hood and going towards and then doing the LOSHRS race, but that you could tie up on the wall. So that's not a problem if you want to tie up on the wall overnight. If somebody here wants a slip, we have, I think, 15 or 20 at Lakeshore Yacht Club, which are available for you. So if you want a slip, you don't want to be on the wall, you don't have a slip at PCYC, please just send an email to LOSHRS at lure.ca. It's the LOSHRS email address, and we'll put you in touch with Joe, and he has the list, and he'll be able to contact you and get that information. So before I pass this on, I'm going to pass this on to Martin to talk a little bit more about LOSHRS. I just want to tell you that I hope this is our last virtual meeting. I really hope that the next meeting that we have will be in person and we'll be able to have a drink together as we did in the past. So everyone have a great time on Sunday. Enjoy yourselves, and I'm passing this over now to Martin.
Thanks, Monica, and I'll pick up right there, hoping that this is the last virtual meeting because I really hate not handing out bottles of rum because that's a big part of LOSHRS, as everybody knows. And you've all mentioned the sponsors, etc. We're down a little bit in numbers this year, which isn't a feel-good thing. We've only got 52 boats, but they are coming from 18 clubs, and we have ambassadors representing all of those clubs, but we're wondering where the other boats are. And actually, Joe and I had a quick little chat about it, and we're not sure. People are retiring, they're doing different things, they have other things, and that kind of leads me into my next part, which is we're down on volunteers at the LOSHRS level. While the lure committee is quite large, there's a lot of work that goes into LOSHRS that most people don't realize. And it's not just the organizing the individual events at the weekends and everything else, but there's hours of time spent answering questions for people. We get countless emails. I can't count the number of emails that are in my inbox this week from lure and LOSHRS, etc. And so if anybody out there has any inkling or time that they can give up to us, I can't remember how long I've been doing this and how long Mac's been doing it, but both of us are being challenged by outside interests, and our time that we're able to put into lure and LOSHRS has diminished greatly over the last year or two. So if you think you have time, or you think you have an interest, or as Monica said, do you have ideas that'll make us better, make LOSHRS grow back to the 100 boats that we had 5-6 years ago? Spread the word around the lake, spread the word around your club. It's not quite as onerous as I might make it out to be. It is actually a lot of fun handing out bottles of rum on, at the skippers meetings, and it's a lot of the same faces, and so a lot of you know each other and everybody knows each other. But give up a little bit of your time, and I can be rest assured that you will feel the love coming back from all of the racers, because without the volunteers that make this go forward, these races don't happen. I mean, yes, we have awesome sponsors, and we've talked about them a lot, but it is the volunteers in the background that drive these races out on the lake. I'm going to do committee boat tomorrow for the Susan Hood because we're low on committee boat. Graham has got countless hours that he puts into onshore stuff, finishing the races and on the water. So if you know anybody who's got, an hour or two they want to put up, and maybe it's a youth that needs a few hours to finish their high school stuff, we'll teach them. But we definitely need onshore assistance at all levels, whether it be organizing or just helping. And with that, I'll let you guys go on, because I know a lot of you have sat through already an hour of or half an hour of the Susan Hood race committee meeting. So Graham, you take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Monica and Martin. Again, if there's a contradiction between something said tonight and what's in the documents, the notice of race and sailing instructions take precedence. Back to these, they're up there available. Check the official notice board that's on the Yacht Scoring website for LOSHRS before the start for any updates. Again, mention about safety. It's if we need to supply assistance to anybody on the water who needs it, as long as it doesn't put you at risk. Okay, a couple of things that you need to know about the racing rules of sailing. It's no longer required to have the information in both the notice of race and the sailing instructions. If it's in the notice of race, it does not have to be repeated in the sailing instructions. So we amend a lot of the actual racing rules, and those amendments are in the notice of race and are not repeated in the sailing instructions. There are additional requirements that are in the notice of race. They're not repeated in the SIs. So you need to look at both the notice of race and SIs to understand the rules governing LOSH. Okay, there's a couple of experimental rules that are invoked. the reduced visibility, I hope, will not come into effect because people won't be out there till after sunset until the race number 4. But it's something to review and understand because there's some different requirements about what you have to do between sunset and sunrise, especially at marks. They changed the ruling, the definition of a start, making it harder for us to have a time penalty instead of kicking you out of the race if you were being scored OCS. They came out with a test rule, DR 2101, and that's invoked. So what it means, if you're start before the start signal and you don't go back to correct yourself, you'll get a time penalty. However, you can go back and correct yourself. The other thing is that 44.3 applies. So if you have to take a penalty, it's not a 1 or 2 turns penalty. You have to use 44.3. So I suggest everybody get out their rule books so that everybody has and actually read it. The starts will be done according to Rule 26. The classes are unique to LOSHRS, and I suggest you review the SIs on the starting process. The start splits are documented here. This document splits takes precedence if there are any errors or contradictions between this and this scratch sheet. So make sure that you're in the right place in the scratch sheets according to this document. And if not, let us know and we'll fix it. The first warning for race 1 is at 11:25 and 9:55 for races 2 through 6. The racing really starts at the sailboat's prep signal, i.e. the racing rules of sailing coming into effect, and your engine has to be turned off so you're not under power at that point. Please keep out of the way of other boats starting if it's not your start yet. It really screws them up and they don't really appreciate it. So be friendly and keep out of the start area until it's your warning. The first course is you go to the Clarkson mark, which is the Drive HG mark, left to port. Then you go to Gibraltar and we'll finish at the Tobico Mimico Racing Mark number 5. So the boats that are from Toronto only have to go back halfway back from Humber Bay, and the boats from Port Credit only have to go from mark number 5 back to Port Credit. So it's a good Canadian compromise. Read the SIs on finishing. Please monitor your radio. There won't be any post-race inspections until we get to race number 4, but just have your radio on. The marks are for the SIs. Please monitor your radio in case there's any instructions after the finish. If you, within 90 minutes, if you're accepting an alternate penalty, please email the form to race committee at Lure. And if within 2 hours of finishing, if you have to submit any protests or requests for redress on the owner's corner on the race document and registration website. What's important for offshore races, and especially the longer ones and the overnight races, is that your crew list is up to date and current, that reflects everybody who's on board. If you say you have 2 crew, we should have information about 2 crew, not 1, not 3. So you can manage this through yacht scoring, and there's a little video on how to do it. So please maintain your crew, and we realize that crew can change from race to race, and you can be updated anytime up to the start of that race to make sure the information is current and correct. This is a safety consideration in case the Coast Guard or other search and rescue groups have to go look for you. If you say that there's 3 crew on board and you really had 4, and we tell the Coast Guard, oh, you only have to find 3 people. And when they find 3 people, they give up looking for the 4th. That's not good. Similarly, if you say that there's 4 on board and there's only 3, they'll go be looking for the mythical 4th person, which isn't good either. So again, we really appreciate if you keep the crew list up to date and current for the number of souls on board. And that video is there to help you do it. The other reminder is that when you accepted the waiver, you said that you looked at the concussion information. We won't go over it, but it's available on Ontario and Sailing. And it's important because concussions are a much more serious injury than people realize. The real problem is if you get a concussion, it is not fully healed, then you get another. It really exacerbates the damage and can lead to fatalities and long-term impairment. They're finding more and more people that are really punch drunk, like in the NFL and all the rest of it. The only way they can really detect this damage is when they do the autopsy, because there's no tests for it. So again, it needs to protect your head and the head of your crews. So you need to know what to do. Withdrawals are key. We keep track of every boat and we keep looking for them at the finish. So if they wandered off and went home without telling us, that's not too good, because we may have to start phoning them, try to track them down, invoke the search and rescue plans from JRCC, Trenton, etc. So if you withdraw, please let us know. And it's quite easy to do. You can phone us at that number. It's a toll-free number. If we don't answer, you can leave a message and we'll get a WAV file in our email so we can get it, and it goes to multiple people. You can email race committee at LOR. These are all monitored 7/24 during the races. And if you're in range of the race committee, you can reach us on channel 71. But please communicate to us if there's any urgency or if you're withdrawing. That's short and sweet. So now we'll entertain any questions or comments.
Hi there. Do we need to do the race log for this first race, or are we
The
good?
race log is only for the category 3.
Thank you.
So there is more paperwork, like you'll need to submit your safety document and crew overboard and all arrested for the category 3 race, which is race number 4, the long distance overnight one.
This is Ken. I've been able to find the scratch sheets, but I've not been able to get to the start sequence. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about which link to get to start sequences? I've been able to figure that out.
There is the URL to the start sequence. We'll be sending out the presentation so you can click on it once you receive it.
I've seen that a couple times. I've never had enough time to actually copy it down. If you could maybe leave that on for 35, 40 seconds, I'll get it. Thank you.
You do, and again, we're sending out a PDF copy of the presentation after this meeting, along with the URL link to the recording. So you'll be able to click on it there.
Yeah, you can also access it through the website. If you go into races and register and go to the yacht scoring page, you can access it there. Scratch sheet in.
That's what I've tried. I've been unsuccessful there.
But
That's
there's another thing that says additional documents, and that's where it is.
And just one last question. Just before we started the Zoom, I went to my site and everything looked okay except for registration. Is that something we have to do with the club, or how do we do the registration?
Well, the registration is online. If the red box there, it says that you're not checked in, don't worry about it. That's more for race 4.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey.
Any other comments?
Hi. Yeah, hi, Graham. It's Sean Matthews from WeBC3 at
Mhm.
Highland Yacht Club.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the course, and just to clarify, because I know this caught one of the boats in my division last year, it feels like it's almost a triangle course for race 1, but that Gibraltar mark feels a little weird because you have to take it to starboard.
Right.
And I just thought I'd throw it out there as a clarification, because it feels a little odd going around that mark to starboard. I'm not asking to change the course, but I'm just kind of helping out the competitors there, that it feels like it should be like almost like a triangle, but that Gibraltar buoy is taking a starboard, not port.
Right. Yeah, because what happens, it turns out the Mark V is actually somewhat south of Gibraltar. So you would be crossing it if you were going back up the other way.
Great, thanks.
Sorry to interrupt one more time, this Ken. I've done that a lot of times, and that's always an issue. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Going once? Going twice?
Thank you for all the work you do.
Okay. One last chance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Graham, are you going to post the results online or what happens there?
Yeah, the results go back probably sometime Sunday night after the race. They'll be posted on Yacht Scoring. Any other questions? If not, thank you very much, and we'll look forward and hope we have good winds in the right direction on Sunday.
Have a great time. Have a good race, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Graham. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you much for all your work.
Okay.
You're welcome. Our pleasure.